welcome to the stage.
Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I had one question. Like, do you think by disproving Darwinism, it by default proves the story of Adam and Eve
One
a
second.
fact for human
Before we ask, do
origin?
you mind if I ask firstly, are you, I'm guessing you're, I believe you said you're not Muslim, but what are you? Are you an atheist? Are you a Hindu, a Christian? What's the deal?
I'm actually Buddhist.
Oh, okay. But do you believe in God?
No,
You don't. Okay. Could you please repeat your question?
Yeah.
yeah. My question is, do you think by disproving Darwinism, it by default proves the story of Adam and Eve a fact for explaining human origin?
Yeah, there's no link between the two. So even if Darwinism is shown to be insufficient or false or whatever, it doesn't absolutely in any way show the Adamic story to be true.
Then what makes you believe the Adam and Eve story a fact?
The Adam and Eve story is something that we believe in because we believe the Quran is a miracle. We don't believe in the Adam and Eve story because there's problems with Darwinism. The reason why this is a good question is because it's often portrayed to me that, oh, you're just trying to make the argument that since Darwinism is not true, right, literally, therefore Adam and Eve story is true. But I've never ever made that argument, and I don't think anybody has ever made that argument. But that's the straw man construction that, Adam and Eve is true because of this. Now, the reason why we believe in Adam and Eve, which is a miracle, the creation of Adam is a miracle, is the same reason why we believe Jesus was born of a virgin. It's the same reason why we believe the sea parted. It's the same reason why we believe the moon split. It's the same reason why we believe that the universe was created. It's a miracle by God. So if you believe in God, then the Adamic story, the parting of the sea, the virgin birth, all of these miracles, including the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, going to heaven on a winged creature, is all explainable. So everything goes back to God. So the question I want to ask you is, why don't you believe in God?
Because means I means don't get enough evidences which can prove 100% that yes, God exists.
Okay,
And
let's break this
and
down.
one more thing, yeah,
Okay,
and one more thing I want to comment before
yeah,
that.
but just
Uh,
let's
it,
just let's just stick to this, right? What counts for you as evidence for God's existence?
there are two types of evidences. One is rational evidence, and another is empirical evidence. Empirical evidence is much more preferred than rational evidence. This is my two things.
What's the okay, what's the empirical evidence that the world exists, matter exists? It's not an illusion.
Uh, because we can feel by our five senses.
Yeah, but you know that we could just be a brain in a vat being fed these
Uh,
sensory inputs.
yeah, but it still proves that our body is a physical
No, it
something.
doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. Another question, because though you can't show the world is real using empiricism, right and
Yeah,
wrong, right? Right and wrong. If you see a
yeah,
child being killed, right, and they're tortured to death in front of you, what's the
yeah.
empirical evidence for morality in that case?
Mm, means it's a different subject totally because morality, if you see, there are more philosophies like harm principle, utilitarianism. All these things will have to be
Thank you.
discussed for morality.
Those are
Yeah,
those are non-empirical evidences. The
yeah.
reason why I'm
I
giving you
agree.
these, yeah, the reason why I'm giving you these examples, and I don't want to labor the point, I just want to summarize it. Maths, maths, logic, metaphysics, morals, testimony, so many other ways of looking at the world besides empiricism, right? You can't
Yeah,
even show the world is real that we're having a real conversation, that matter is real, using empiricism. You can't do it,
Yeah.
right? So let's stick to this simple point. I'm going to make a point about myself. I study the human brain, I study the human eye, I look at the order in the universe, the laws of nature. I infer from order, from design, and design does exist in biology. I infer from that a designer, a god, a organizer, a creator. What's wrong with my inference?
I think there is no wrong, but means I haven't means really gave much thought about on God's existence, because from my childhood I do not believe in God, so I kept that belief. Means I didn't give much thought about it.
But don't you think it's important? Because ultimately, if there is a God, and I believe there is, if there is a God, then God has
Yeah.
created us for a purpose. There is a reason why God created us. Now, I don't know a lot about Buddhism, but what I do know is that when Buddha was asked about God, he was apparently silent. So some Buddhists believe in God, a lot of Buddhists don't believe in God. However, the real question is, how do you explain the fact that we have something rather than nothing? How do you explain the fact that we have design? How do you explain the fact that we have morality? How do you explain the fact that we have consciousness? How do you explain the fact that we have a contingent universe and you can't go back forever in an infinite regress? All of these things make a combined case for God. Like if I was to ask you, you've written Johann, Yohan, okay? You've
Yeah.
written that. Now imagine if you're walking on a beach and you see the words Johann, Johann is a good
Yes.
person. You see that on a beach, it's written Johann is a good person. You see the letters are there. Would you say that came together by chance or came together by intelligence? Somebody wrote those words as you're walking past on a beach. How would it come?
It is by intelligence.
Okay, good. In
Yeah.
your DNA, Johann, my brother, you have 3 billion letters in your DNA. And those letters are functional. They code. They code for your body. And those functional letters, the 3 billion letters that you have in your DNA set, if
Yeah.
Johann is a good man, can be written on a beach by an intelligent being, not by chance, how is it that 3 billion letters in the genome can be the result of blind chance? It doesn't make any sense. There
Yeah.
has to be design. In fact, design as a research tool, and Ramzi, you're going to find this really interesting, right? Atheists, theists, naturalists, deists, whoever you are, every single person working within the biology domain recognizes they have to use language of functionality, they have to use language of purpose and design. Even the most ardent atheist Darwinist in the world, Richard Dawkins, he says that design as a working tool is so powerful that it's used by biologists. The illusion of design of purpose is so strong that it's a good research tool. And that's somebody who doesn't believe in God. So I want to ask you a question. If it quacks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it looks like a duck, it's a
Yeah.
duck. If it looks like design, if it feels like design, if it's fine tuned and studied in a way that shows intricate complexity, it's design. The only thing that these atheists say is it's an illusion of design. And we can just tell them, no, it's an illusion of design, meaning it's design, right? That's what it is. It's
Yeah.
just design. So, what I would say to you is you should believe in God, and Islam teaches you worship God alone. worshipping God alone makes you a happy person. And look, Buddhism is all about reaching that higher state of enlightenment. Well, Islam, you don't have to go live in a cave and do that. We are told very simply in the Quran, the answer is in the remembrance of God do hearts find peace. For example, I'm just going to point out an example to you. Here's a piece of evidence you can look at. Here's an empirical piece of evidence you can look at. If
Yeah.
the people of Gaza were liberal, woke atheists, they would be crying like babies right now. But they are Muslims who believe in God, and people on earth that can show the tenacity, the determination, the faith that they do. You have people who are in rubble, starving to death under tons of rubble, and they still do not give up their faith in God. You have people whose family members are butchered and killed in front of them, yet they don't give up praying and they don't give up in terms of their faith. This is evidence that the faith of Islam is a faith which will positively impact a human being to make them strong. I'm sorry to say, there's no equivalent in Buddhism, and there's certainly no equivalent in Pajitism, right? There's nothing like that. Islam is the only religion that will give you that strength. What's happening here in the West with wokeism and these liberals? These people are weak. These people are snowflakes. The real strength comes from a true religion of God. And that is something I want you to consider. I really want you to consider, how is it possible that these people have such strong faith? And I'm sorry to say, Buddhism's not going to give you that faith either. It's only Islam.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to look on the facts.